everyone is joining us for another session of JCI Europe Live. And this time, really about all the EDC councillors and the new initiative, JCI Rise. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We have a great programming prepared for you. And as you can see already, all the EDC councillors are here. We are still waiting for President Itai, but we know he'll join us a little bit later. So welcome to the stream. We see the first people are starting to come in. So a very warm welcome. And I will start and introduce you to some of the speakers that we have coming up today. With going forward in the slides, we have our wonderful EDC councillors, which you can already see some of them. Manuela, can you move us a little bit forward? And we are so excited that you'll be hearing from all the different councillors today. We are starting with our chairwoman, Natasha, who will, from JCI Denmark, who will introduce us and give us some highlights. And then we have Manuela from JCI Germany, who will share some words with you and her portfolio. We have myself, and then we have the two wonderful ladies, Heidi and Jana, who will be sharing some exciting news about the mentoring program with you, so stay tuned for that. And then we have, going on further, our other wonderful EDC councillors, and we have for that, our HP from the Netherlands, and then Drazen from Serbia. We have Jonas, our assistant, also from JCI Denmark, and we have Lauri, who is our JCI Europe treasurer from JCI Finland. So welcome to everyone who is part of our Zoom meeting today. And of course, we have two special guests, and we are so excited that they are part of this session today. A big welcome to our 2020 JCI President, Itai Maniere. Itai is already in the meeting and is so excited to be sharing with you the new initiative, Rise, and we very much look forward to his insights. Itai is already saying thank you for having me here. Welcome, Itai, and we are excited to see you in a little while. And of course, it's not just Itai who's responsible for JCI Rise and for the new program. We have a Europe Task Force Chair, and that's Nicole from JCI Malta. We are so excited to have you on tonight as well. And with that, I give the mic, the virtual mic, to my co-host Manuela to introduce you to our first speaker of today. But before doing that, I just want to say that we are excited you're all here in the live stream. Please share the stream, comment on it, and really let us know if you have any questions. This meeting and this JCI Europe Live is for you as presidents, as members of the local organizations. We want to know what you are thinking and what your questions are. So please comment, ask anytime in the chat, and we'll make sure to bring it live into the meeting. So again, a big welcome, and you'll hear from me in a little while again. Manuela, it's up to you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Hello and good evening, everyone. This session is a special one, as Ruth and I will do the moderation both one after the other, as you will see later as well. And I'm happy to start with our first speaker from the European Development Council. This is Natasha Jove. She has this year even two roles because she is, as you can see, the European Development Council chairperson. So she's our boss, and she is also our JCI Europe General Legal Counsel. So we're really excited. Natasha, what you want or like to tell us, and the stage is now yours.
Thank you so much, Ruth, and thank you so much, Manuela. And good evening, everyone. It's really excited that we are continuing with the JCI Europe Live sessions in the second half of the year, and I have really been looking forward to this. Also, as both Ruth and Manuela already said, a really warm welcome to you, Itai. It's amazing to have you here as well. So looking into to the two different positions and two different roles I'm going to share a little bit about today. Let's start with the European Development Council and the role here as the chairperson. What is it really that we focus on here? What is the role that I'm doing this year? We have already in previous sessions walked a bit more through what does the EDC do, but we do focus on growth, on organizational development, and on retention. I have chosen some highlights here today because they are quite special. One of the overall roles for me this year is, of course, trying to lead the team, but having the overall picture also from a strategic perspective, seeing that the portfolios goes together alongside with what is the need in the organization. And actually, these sessions that we are having here, that I know you will get a bit more knowledge about in just a few minutes, they are a picture of adjusting to what is actually needed in the moment. And I know that Ruth will tell you a bit more about that. But that's also one of the things we do. What is the current need in the organizations? But we do focus on growth and development. We do it at a European level from the Area D, but also with a global perspective. I put in a picture here of the global session we had in May, which is, as far as I know, the first time ever that we had a global session with all 4 areas represented, focusing on knowledge sharing from the local level and with interpretation into all the official languages that we do have in JCI. That was really amazing that we were able to kick this off, and it came from these very difficult circumstances. But that's one of the things that we do want to foster even more, that we can use these opportunities to also foster the global collaboration even more, because there is a lot to gain also at the local level by sharing the knowledge and getting the insights from the other areas and really seeing that JCI is a global organization. What do we do besides that? We support on the ground. There has just been the Nordic Academy, where we sent a trainer, which was Heidi Janti from also the European Development Council. And that is what we do. When there is a need somewhere, we are here to support. We can do it by some of the programs we have, but we are also in the position to really support on the ground. And this was a very small academy, so we had the chance to do it in person. One of the things that we have been talking about for quite a long time is knowledge sharing, also regarding growth and retention, and from the roles and the perspectives that we are having here. And we saw that there wasn't an option for it in the current website, and it's not a plan for the global website yet at the moment. So one news to share with you is that in the EDC just a month ago, we initiated that we are going to start our own knowledge sharing platform, which hopefully all our local and national organizations can benefit from. So that's also some of the things we do. Then, even though we are still in 2020 and we do have 4 months to go, the year is not over until December 31st. We do focus on who is our successors. And one of our finest tasks is to help them get really good into their roles. We did have the candidate training during the online European conference, but for the candidates who are applying for EDC for the next year, we are continuing to support them by candidate training so they can start off in their roles very well. And the deadline, just to remind you, the deadline is tomorrow. From there, going on to the role as GLC. Can we take the next slide? Perfect, thank you. Yeah, so this is really new that we are having a position as General Legal Counsel at the European level. And just to be very clear, this is not a replacement instead of the JCI GLC. It's not a role that is conflicting or in competition with it. There is one GLC in JCI, and that is this year OMA. The European GLC has a quite different role. The role is to support at the European level, but also because we have the German entity, the separate legal entity, where we do run European projects from. So how does this go together? The European Development Council and, well, interpreting the EDC guidelines and the JCI Europe EV Constitution. So it's really important to highlight that the role we introduced here is for the European organization. So what does the GLC do? Well, we advise in legal matters in general, do the interpretation. We also support national and local organizations if there are questions regarding how to interpret the different constitution and policy manuals. One of the things that will be crucial, also talking about candidacies and if anyone could be interested in the role for the future, is to really get the insight and support the national organizations in how does these organizations go together and do the interpretation there. Also, how can we run more European projects from a European perspective? That is also a role for the GLC here. So any questions that there might be from regarding legal matters, you could also address them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dear Natasha, for all those insights.
Yes, a big thank you to Natasha, and we are so excited that there's already so many people watching and you're starting to comment. So please, if you have any questions for Natasha, put it into the chat now and let us know. If you have any questions, of course, for the application that was just mentioned, if you want to join the EDC 2021, you will hear more from all of the counselors now. But if there's anything that you want to know, please let us know anytime. And of course, we also want to know where you're watching from. So feel free to share where you've tuned in, because it's always great to see where people are watching from. And with that, I want to give the words. She's already had the word because she's our wonderful co-host, but I want to give a formal introduction to our 2020 European Development Council member, especially for impact and promotion, Manuela Weber. Manuela, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Ruth. What a wonderful introduction. I'm happy to let you know a bit about what I'm doing and let's say my portfolio. So what is my impact this year in 2020? My portfolio is called Impact and Promotion. That's why I just started with Impact and Promotion on the slides. Let's say for the promotion part, in JCI we do so many great things, but we also need to talk about it so that everyone knows about what we're doing fantastic. So also the thing is that for marketing you need a strategy, right? So you need to know who is the target group, what content can you share, do you want to share, which channels do you use, etc. So that all started with the creation of a strategy for what can we or will we share on our channels that we have. So we have a JCI Europe website, we have a Facebook page, as you know, the Facebook group, we have an Instagram account, and also some others like Twitter and LinkedIn that are not that actively involved. But yeah, there are lots of channels. And we also have a monthly JCI Europe newsletter. So far it was sent only to the national presidents or national board members. But you will see later, there is also the opportunity for the members to subscribe for this newsletter. Yeah, and what is the impact by not only, let's say, promoting stuff, it's also to conduct the JCI for Dummies training for giving some information about how is our organization structured, because this is something which probably is also a very important part of my portfolio, to provide information about the organization. For example, as you can find on the website, which is growing and growing with information about what is JCI Europe, especially, of course, but also with the one or other link to our global organization of JCI. Then it's also supporting, of course, my colleagues, which I really like our fantastic collaboration. And talking about collaboration, you see, we have lots of possibilities for you as national organizations and members. And because of talking about collaboration, I'd like to do short promotion for the International PR and Media Academy that JCI Italy organizes, because this is an academy which I think is very important for all that do communication. And as we all in our local organizations and national organizations want to do communication and marketing to tell the world about the great things that we do, I really recommend to take part in this academy, where you can still apply, but first come, first serve. So hurry up with this. And I wanted to share with you the link for the newsletter subscription. So just go on the JCI Europe website and then subscribe for the monthly newsletter. Also be curious, because this year we offered one social media week for each national organization, and some picked this opportunity. So be curious about what will happen in the next weeks and months, because there will be several national organizations sharing their projects, like JCI Russia with their Euro-Asian Business Forum. And also talking about collaboration, I'm talking about JCI Europe Live, our session that we have today. It is now the 6th session that we have today, and it was founded together with Ruth. It is really a great project that we have done together. And it was influenced actually because of the Corona and COVID situation. But I think, Ruth, you will talk a bit more about how we started and why. So I will give the floor to you, and that's also my way to introduce you and to pass the floor to you, Ruth, my wonderful co-host, colleague, and co-organizer. The stage is yours.
Thanks so much, Manuela, and it's especially exciting to already see the big discussions going on in the chat. So thank you all for sharing where you're from. I've seen Russia, I've seen France, I've seen Germany. I've seen already comments on asking questions, but no real questions yet. So it's going to be exciting to see who is first. Yes, and I'm also excited to share a few words about my work on the European Development Council with you. So what we saw coming March is we were all a bit, end of February, okay, what are we going to do now based on what was happening? And then we said, we actually didn't say that. We saw some of the really great projects coming up in the JCI chapters, and we said, we have to feature them. There's so much great work coming up. There's, Chapters United to give back to the local businesses. There is digital formats coming up to help people that are in psychological needs. There is a lot others that were coming in that we wanted to make sure we give you the space. And so we started having JCI Europe Lives in March and really featuring your project. And so that's why now is the time. That was the time, and that was the reason why JCI Europe Live actually started, with your projects and your initiatives. And we were so excited that it's been carrying on every month. And we've been all using the hashtag JCI Europe Live, which has triggered also some additional activity for our JCI Europe members group, which is always exciting because, as you probably know, sometimes we have to beat the Facebook algorithm, and we started doing that by going live in the group and by making sure that you can all see that and that you're all members of that group and joining us and hearing us. I've seen some more questions and chats come in, so please comment and respond to that as well. But I also have some more exciting news to share with you, and you've maybe seen it in the announcements or you've just heard it from our chairwoman Natasha, and it's when another idea turns into reality. And with the current situation, it's another now that's happening. We don't actually know when we can physically meet again. But what we do know is that that can't stop us. We want to meet online, and we want to give you the opportunity to also have the Growth and Development Academy online. So it did take us some time for preparation, but we have a few wonderful counselors on our team that are really experts in terms of creating digital trainings. And I know they're going to speak right after me, so you'll hear from them shortly. And they really, everyone helped together to put down the concept. Now I'm sharing with you the starting time and the application date, and then some more info. Starting time is September 24th, and the application date and deadline is September 19th. Now, having said that, I know the first applications have already started trickling in today. So if you're interested, make sure to apply within the coming days. And coming week, of course. And with that, I did want to share with you that the link where you can actually access the training, it will be on Thinkific, and it will be going through the JCI Denmark training site. The costs will be 10 euros. But the great thing about it is you will also get a certificate mailed to you, and there might be some surprises for you as well at the end. So we hope you're going to be a part, and we hope you're going to apply. There is different models, which is the final information I want to share as a sneak peek for you. There is model 1, which is all about identity and how you can really build your local organization. Of course, we'll also be talking a little bit about the identity of JCI and what is JCI on the international level and how we are different than other organizations. Then there is a strategy model. That's really our new SWOT analysis. And we'll be talking a little bit about how you can be successful and what is needed in order to do that. And also, of course, about mission, vision, values, and the key KPIs. Model 3 then is the implementation model. And we'll really be talking about what happens when identity and strategy come together and really form the plan of action. So that will especially be interesting in the times of now, also for your local chapters. And we'll also be sharing some new highlights about partnerships and project planning and management. And the last model, we know it's very important. It's the membership recruitment and retention model. So we'll be sharing a lot of strategies with you. We'll be talking about how you can engage your members and how you can retain them and how you can really motivate your members to create impact. So there was a lot of information, but it's not just here, it's actually all on the website. So you can go there and read through it and send in your application. And we'll be excited to have members from all the different European countries join us for the Academy. And with that, I'm actually almost at the end of my short sneak peek into the skills boosting counselor position. So if you have any questions about the Academy or about the position, please type into the chat now, and we'll be taking the questions right after all the EDC councillor has spoken, and do a little Q&A session before we hand it over to our international president. And with that, I will be handing it over to the two EDC councillors that I've already mentioned as part of our team and really working hard on the online GDA and the different modules and crafting them. Both are great trainers, and you've probably seen them in trainings already in your countries or on the international level. And it's been wonderful working together with them. Dear Heidi, dear Jana, intensive support. The virtual stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Ruth. We are so happy to be here. Hello, everybody. Hi, Heidi. Good to see you again. We decided that I would start with some general introduction about what we are responsible for and how we can help you. And then just right after me, Heidi will talk a little bit more about mentoring, because that's something that's already happening and we are so excited about it. So why there is two of us? Well, there's two of us because we are trying to provide, and it is aimed that we provide intensive support to struggling national organizations. So organizations that really need a lot of guidance, help with anything they might need. As Ruth already mentioned, me and Heidi are professional trainers, so we can really help there. In general, intensive support counselors are also responsible for the program. In the past, we had Next Level, now we have mentoring. So for similar programs that provide peer-to-peer help to JCI struggling organizations or any organizations that ask for help, basically for everyone who wants to be better. So I guess that's pretty much everybody in JCI, because that's our motto, be better. I will steal a line from Harry Potter, because this is something that is kind of important to mention, that just like at Hogwarts in JCI, help will always be given to those who ask for it. So really, me and Heidi, we are here to help you. So just don't hesitate and ask for help. Because if we don't know that you need any kind of help, we cannot help you. The kind of support we provide is quite a lot of training, sometimes consulting. We cooperate with other counselors. That's one thing that's important to mention, that we have our portfolios, but we are one lovely team, as you can see. So there's a lot of cooperation with skills boosting. There's a lot of cooperation with Drazen and new organizations. So both me and Heidi, we did some training for or hopefully newly affiliated organization JCI Portugal. We took part in Effective Weekend organized by JCI Ireland. And I also took part in the global communications training. We also trained for other countries, even other regions. So if there is anything you might need from us, we are here to help to a reasonable extent. So what else can we do for you? Apart from working on mentoring, and as Ruth mentioned, working on the Online Growth and Development Academy, if there is anything you need help, like develop methodologies for training, I've consulted some weekend workshops, things like that, then do not hesitate to ask. But I think that's the general stuff. I think you are quite excited to hear about our child this year, our pride and joy, the mentoring program. So with that, I give this virtual mic to my wonderful partner in crime, Heidi. Hi, Heidi.
Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody. Thank you for so lovely introductions and general info about our portfolio and what we are doing. I will give you some insights for the EDC mentoring program. And this is a new program that was initially launched last year, and we did some modifications to it during this year. And we came out with a new mentoring program that the pilot is actually going on at the moment. We started the pilot in June, and it will be lasting until end of the year. And if the pilot is successful, we will be doing this again next year, hopefully for a full year program. But a couple of words about what is mentoring first. So if you, Manuela, could switch slides. The mentoring usually is between two individuals. We are doing it a bit differently in the EDC this year. But in any case, it doesn't matter who the mentor or the mentee is. The mentoring is a journey. And during this journey, the point is that the mentee gets something from the mentor, and the mentee can develop their skills and actions and other things. And also maybe the mentor also learns something from the mentee, and especially they get a journey that is full of surprises, and it's really experience both of them. The EDC mentoring program, if you once again, Manuela, change the slide, is, as I said, 6 to 12 months long program. The pilot will be the half year, so we are about in the halfway already on the pilot program, and the next year we hopefully get a full year, so 12 months long program. The target of this mentoring program is organizational growth and development. So that's why the mentees are local organizations or national organizations as a whole. So the whole organization here acts as a mentee for the program. And the mentor can be any experienced individual, can be a senator, can be a member, can be a potential member or whatever who is within this organization somehow affiliated and has experience on the topics that the mentoring is offered. The mentoring, for example, can be about membership retention. It can be about membership growth. It can be about sustainable partnerships. It can be about just general development of the organization and actions, as long as it focuses on the organizational growth and development. And here you can see the timeline. So since we are doing this as an EDC facilitated program, we have an initiation meeting, and then after that, the mentee and the mentors are meeting, the groups are meeting, and then we have a halfway meeting where we a little bit look on the program, how has it been, and what is going to be on the second half of the program. Actually, we're having the pilot halfway meetings this week and next week. So as I said, we're there in the halfway of the pilot. And after that, again, the mentees and the mentors are having their group meetings. And then we have a closing meeting and the evaluation at the end of the program, which will be this year in somewhere early December. If you want to find more information on the mentoring program, you can find it from the EDC webpage. And the next application period will be opened later this year. So we will be running it hopefully also next year, and you can apply to it maybe somewhere in November. Thank you. Jana, do you still have something that you want to add?
No, you said it all, and you said it well for both of us. I just have to say that, you know, being on EDC is also fun. You get to see the work part, but I have to say that for me, cooperation with Heidi was definitely one of the highlights. So if you're still wondering, if you're still not sure about your application for EDC councillor positions, go for it. I think it's back to Manuela and Ruth.
Thank you very much for your great insights on how you do the intensive support and especially the mentoring program. It's also great to see how in the comments mentoring programs are added from the senators as well. Thank you very much, the two of you, for your great work, which is still going on. And also don't forget the next application timeline for the mentoring program. So talking about intensive support, we're now getting further to the next portfolio that we have is national and local collaboration. And our wonderful colleague Hans-Peter HP from the Netherlands, will tell you a bit more about his work and activities in this portfolio. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Manuela. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, welcome everybody watching the live feed of this Europe live session. My name is Hans-Peter. I'm responsible for the national and local collaboration program within the EDC. And during the year, we have been working on a new JCI Sustainable Growth Program. During the European Conference, online virtual conference, we have been presenting the program, which entails a step-by-step program for a period of at least 3 months to be done within a local organization. Whereas the Sustainable Growth Program needs the buy-in from all the members on effectuating growth within the chapter. The training itself, which is usually also being organized within the chapter, is focusing on the 4 areas of opportunities: how to invite guests to your chapter meeting, how to work on retention, including like a buddy and a mentoring system, as well as all the resources available from the JCI EDC, as well as the teams with JCI World Headquarters. Next to that, I'm also working on health checklists for the national and the local organizations, which would allow both organizations to have an idea what they are doing, what is being supposed to be organized or to being done by a local or national organization, as well as how to evaluate and also to compare them with other national organizations within Europe. That's in effect what I'm doing, and that's about it. Then I give the floor back to Manuela.
Thank you very much, HP. It's very interesting what you do and the challenging part as well. I think now it's your turn, Ruth, right?
Yes, and I can actually also say HP has been our master of virtual backgrounds. Whenever we have Zoom meetings and they might be getting too long, he shows us different new backgrounds. We should all go on a vacation together or some other things. You're muted now, HP, but
I can unmute myself, or so I can show it to you. I can do.
So we all then go on virtual short trips and vacations promoted by and thanks to HP. And you are now getting the credit as well, all in the live feed of being in this blinking waterfall. Thanks, HP. So as you can see, of course, we've all been part of many online meetings lately, and sometimes we just need little breaks and fun in between, and that's also been part of this team this year, and thank you so much for doing that, HP. But we have other great EDC counselors coming up. And next, I want to introduce you to our EDC 2020 European Development Council member, Drazen from Serbia. Drazen, we are so excited you're with us today and sharing more about your portfolio and what you've been doing these past weeks and months. I know there's been a lot of work on your plate.
Thank you very much, Ruth, and thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And I hope you're enjoying this session so far. So my part is new organizations, but this is not just the national, but also local organizations. So we are here to support you when you want to found a new national or local organizations. So we, at the moment, we have a great story with the JCI Portugal. We hope that we'll have at the end of this World Congress their potential affiliation, and I think that Jose and his team in Portugal are really doing a really good job in this time of difficulties. They found a way to start a new potential national organization, which is really, really great. We also have a meeting with JCI UK, who has tried to start 2 new local organizations, and we also get requests from JCI Poland. And as Jana said before, we are here to help you, and that's why we need you to contact us. So if you know somebody who wants to start a local or national organization, it's really send us the contact and we'll try to reach them, because at the moment more than 100 million people in Europe don't have access to JCI, so it's a big potential to open new local and national organizations. Except from working with these new local and national organizations, part of my portfolio is the grants. So we had participation grants for people, for national organizations who need some support to attend DPMs or European conference. And since this year we have a Corona crisis, the European conference unfortunately has been cancelled. We decided to move these grants to the end of the year. So you can plan your next year and try to apply at the end of this year for the grants for the participation for the next year EPM and next year European conference if you cannot. If you cannot afford or your national organization cannot afford. So this will be easier for you to plan as a national organization, the participation, because it's very important for the national officers to participate in these events and to keep sharing knowledge and gain experience to lead their local national organizations. And I think apart from that, being the part of EDC team, it's really great. And we all here for everybody, and we all here to support not just in our portfolios, but everywhere where the support is needed. And that's even though we work the most of the time online, it's really enjoyable. And our meetings never ends when we think, and sometimes gets funny at the end. Like, I hope we'll be managed to meet live again soon. So thank you very much, and don't forget to apply for be part of EDC next year. It's really a wonderful experience.
Thank you very much, Drazen. Fantastic words as well. So thanks for all the insights into your portfolio, and also for the great words. I can just agree, and I think also, as Ruth also already mentioned, it's big fun to work together and to be part of the Team Europe this year. A special situation this year, but nevertheless a great and fun situation that we experience. And now you got the information of the 5 portfolios that we have of our 6 counselors, but what can you do without someone in the background supporting? And so we are happy that also Jonas is with us today and give a bit of insights into his work as executive assistant for us for the EDC.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Europe. My name is Jonas and I'm the executive assistant to the EDC team this year. Unlike the rest of the team who was elected, I was appointed, or as I like to call it, headhunted for the position. And yes, it's right. I am the back office for the EDC team, so I will give you some insights behind the curtain of the team. My primary role is to support the EDC councillors and the EDC chairperson so that they can go and do magic for the members of JCI Europe. And I help them in every way possible. I've helped with everything from presentations to writing to babysitting. So I literally do everything for the team. I try to, at least. Otherwise, I also take care of documentation, because documentation is a really important part in JCI, where everyone switches position every year because of the 1 year to lead. So we rely heavily on the information done year to year, and that is my responsibility. Last but not least, I also do special projects. I am a part of organizing and doing the magazine. I don't know if everyone has heard about it, but we're doing a magazine this year with stories from all over JCI Europe, a whole team of European JCIs who's doing this magazine, doing the articles, and it will come out later this year. We are just about to go into editing and layouting soon. So that's a little insight in what the executive assistant role is this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonas. And I was just going to ask, there have been already 3 questions submitted, and one was about the magazine and when it will be coming out. So thank you for already answering that question. If there are any other questions for us, you've now met, well, you haven't met the final person, but he's important because he's in a double role. But you've met almost the whole team, and we'll be taking some final questions then before we hand it over to President Itai. So with that remarks, thank you so much, Jonas, a great introduction. And you know you're more than our support, and we rely on you for a lot of things, from baby carrying to a lot of other things. So thank you for always being there. It doesn't just take the team. The support is more than needed. So thank you for doing that, and for taking on the being headhunted. So with that, I want to hand it over to a very important person for us in JCI Europe, and that's our 2020 European Development Council and JCI Europe Treasurer, Lauri. Lauri from Finland. We've seen that you have great assistance in your office today, helping us, but please join us on this virtual stage and for our members live.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. My lovely assistant already left for his or her dinner or supper. Yes, but Mr. President, dear colleagues and friends all over Europe, as you can see from the picture, I'm Lauri from Pori, Finland. I've been working as a treasurer in both JCI Europe and in EDC. As a treasurer, I have had the privilege to be part of the board in both organizations and to closely follow the hard work of vice presidents and EDC chancellors to enhance and develop the possibilities of national organizations to cope and stay relevant in this very challenging year. Most of my work is done behind the scenes in one-to-one discussions mainly with EVP Marion, Chairlady Natasha, and AD Lutz, assisting them to work with new initiatives and keeping the wheels of governance running as smoothly as possible. Financial questions during this year have been something that I guess nobody could foresee. The challenges have been mainly about reallocating funds and budgetary decisions, creating the best support to our members in new COVID-19 friendly ways. Some things that cannot be done this year and will be replaced with something that can be done, and that has created needs to rethink the funding. I also have been able to share some of my thoughts and best practices to the next generation of our leaders by giving small trainings for incoming local and national presidents. Thank you for this opportunity, Vice President Jenny. But most grateful I am for the opportunity to act as a liaison officer for the task force recreating and innovating the new Step Up for Europe 2.0 campaign. The task force worked extremely hard to give a complete rebirth to the campaign, and the new initiative Rebuild, Connect, Lead saw the light of day. What happened after that will be heard soon from the task force chair, Lady Nicole, so I will stop about it right here. To conclude, I have been privileged to work as a part of this great team, and I have also been surprised about how the work of a treasurer is much more than counting euros. This has been fulfilling my expectations, and I think despite the challenges of this year, I have been able to give something back to the organization. So if you right there are considering about being the next Scrooge McDuck, I am ready and willing to help you with this challenge. Thank you, and have a good night, everyone.
Thank you so much, Lauri. A great statement again for asking for applications. Please do send them in. The deadline is tomorrow, as it was mentioned before. And thank you for all your hard and very important work, Lauri. So exciting to have you on board. And with that, we've seen some questions come into the chat. If you have any final questions for the whole team, as you've just met, all of us, please type them in now, and we'll make sure to answer them in the chat, because we actually have amazing guest speakers here with us tonight, and we're so excited they're taking the time to join us. And for that, Manuela will introduce them, and it was so great to be here with all of you and to co-moderate this session, and I look forward to chatting with you in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Thanks all to colleagues for presenting the European Development Council. And now we're getting on the global level. We are really so excited and honored that our president, Itai, is with us this evening. Because this July, I think, Itai, you definitely know it better, a new initiative on the global level has been started. It is called JCI Rise. And it has big impact on what we do as JCI organization globally, but also on the local levels. And we're really excited about this initiative, and the stage is now yours to present this further to all of us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Manuela, for that and amazing work that you're doing today as a co-host, along with the main host, who's Ruth. Thank you very much for inviting me to this session, and greetings to EDC, greetings to JCI Europe, all the way from Harare, Zimbabwe. I hope my camera is on somehow, some way, I hope. Yes, talking about JCI Rise. Perhaps it would be best to give some background information as to how this came about in the midst of a crisis, when probably the best option was to say, okay, we've got a pandemic across the world. What should we do? Probably put money together and respond. Such suggestions came along earlier on, just as COVID started to hit economies and people started to shut down. And we say to ourselves as a team, okay, how exactly do we go to Germany to raise money to send to another part when they are also affected? You know, you understand what I mean? It's different from JCI Operation Hope, where ordinarily would say, oh, there's been a tsunami in Haiti or in Costa Rica, so we can put money together using JCI Operation Hope and respond, which really would have been something around just providing aid, as it were. And along the way, we started to see members come up in their own different ways responding to the pandemic. I'll talk about JCI Malta. JCI Malta just responded by putting funds together to respond to frontline staff, to people that needed a meal, as it were. Some in Korea, some in so many other countries provided personal protective equipment. But at the back of our mind, we kept on saying to ourselves, what else can we do? Because it's not something like you have a crisis, then after the crisis, you say, okay, the virus is gone. But this one is a unique one because it has had far-reaching effects. It has affected businesses, some at least here in Africa and in the Middle East, where our airports are still closed, airlines are not flying. So you can imagine what has happened to the downstream industries. Hotels are not operating, lodges are not operating, car hire companies, all those people, they've been greatly affected. For a very long time, restaurants were not operating. When I look at South Africa, which is one of the largest economies in Africa, they only started opening like last week, their restaurants. So you can imagine from March till then, what happens to people, what happens to the businesses, what happens to the jobs on this continent and the world over. People have been losing jobs, airlines shutting down and all that kind of stuff happening. So it's all those things that then we were saying, okay, how can we as young leaders for this so-called fast-changing world? And yes, 2020 has been one that has asked us to actually be really one that can respond very quickly to changing circumstances. We say, so what do we do? When we look at ourselves, the way that we've been affected, when we look around ourselves and say, how have people been affected? We say, so how best to respond? Let's pick certain areas where we think we can have conversations around, have projects around, have to amplify those conversations and get young people to engage partners in business, in civil society, and in governments to say, okay, how do you reinvigorate SMEs, who we believe are the largest economic players in many economies? And most of our members and our peers would fall into that category of small to medium enterprises. How about those that have lost jobs? What happens to them? Do we just say, oh, you've lost your job, oh, we're sorry? How can JCI also work to be that bridge that enables people perhaps to upskill, or to change their line of work, as it were, or even just to believe, to say we can break into business? So it comes in with so many other dimensions. We talk about, I heard about mentoring, we talk about business incubators, we talk about a whole lot of initiatives if we work with different partners to make that possible. One thing that we cannot shy away from is, because of lockdowns and this new way of doing things, we've been affected, say mentally, the stresses, the uncertainties that comes along with COVID, the anxiety to say, okay, what happens tomorrow? All those things. So we said, why not also be able to tackle some such things? So we said, let's have such conversations at local organization level, at national organization level, and see how best JCI can be a part of the solution into the future, which would then in turn ensure that we are relevant as an organization. In the crisis we responded, but also we're now saying into the future, how can we make sure that people get to rise and be more resilient and be able to evolve post the crisis? And therein came along the JCI Rise initiative. And I'm excited to see, before we launched, or just around the same time that we launched, I started to see different events crop up. So I say to myself, I think we've been thinking in the same direction with other members across the world. A workshop in Macau, a workshop down in Curacao, discussing to say, as businesses, how can we make sure that we are resilient post the crisis? How can we turn around our business models? So I said, I think we were shooting in the same direction. And let's now just see how we can create that wave on social media to showcase those projects, showcase those initiatives. We celebrate them in World Congress and see how best we can mutate it into the future, because the effects of COVID will not necessarily end when they say there are no more lockdowns, but the effects will live with us perhaps for at least 5 to 10 more years to come. But for us as an organization to be relevant, let us be one that can be a part of that conversation, if not be the only youth-led organization, an organization of young people leading that particular conversation. So therein lies where JCI Rise came from, and I'm excited with the feedback and the work that I've seen on the ground already take force on the ground. Thank you very much, Manuela, for this. At this point in time, if there is a quick question and answer time, probably we can just then discuss those questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President Itai, for all the insights, how this initiative started, and what exactly we want to address as global initiative with this initiative. And yeah, as you said, it's exactly the right topics that came up in various places, also in Europe. As Lauri already mentioned, we have created the JCI Europe task force for this. I've seen that there are some activities also on the global level. So some are for the local one. We will hear in a few minutes about the European activities. Do you like to add a bit more about concrete global activities, or shall we put them at the end? I have an outlook of the sessions that are about to start on Wednesday. But in case you want to add something in this as well, then please feel free to do it. At the moment, I don't see any concrete questions to that, only a comment. Ruth, if you saw any questions, then please let me know, but I don't see any concrete question yet. So it's just if you want to say a few words about the sessions coming up, then this is yeah, you can do it right now, or we can do it at the end.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can speak now, Manuela. You know, traditionally we've had campaigns, and these campaigns would come with frameworks, as it were. You know, so someone is still waiting for some framework to come from HQ, or to come from the VPs, or to come from EDC. What we've done is we've said, how's about, so it's more or less like a suggestion. So it's an initiative to say to young members, how's about we had conversations that can be relevant now and into the future. Conversations around economic empowerment, conversations around employment creation or empowering the workforce, or dealing with things that are really just before our eyes. Share best practices, have training sessions on some of those areas. When I look at issues to do with breathing life into economies, you look at issues to do with business model formulation. Well, I don't want to preach to the choir right now. That is like topical in Europe. All these business conversations, the business model canvas, issues to do with financial management. Okay, how do you turn around your business model to make sure that it makes sense to your target market? If someone says they want to break into business, you say, okay, what facilities are available for them to kickstart that business? Is it just about them coming up with a business model, or you put them through some incubation program, as it were, and you trickle funding at every stage of the growth of that particular enterprise? This is just ideas that I'm just throwing onto the table. And I'm saying these are some of the conversations, and I think that would really excite people who are in a state of despair to say, so what next? So we will not necessarily come up with a framework to say, okay, this is how we're doing it, or we're going to do it ABC, but just be a conversation starter. Allow us to be that matchstick that just lights up the fire, and you then get the gas going and you keep the energy going, and make sure that we report about it. You share best practices, because certainly the way people do business in Germany could certainly be different from the next national organization, but your colleagues. And what technology has allowed us to do this year is for us to make it very easy for us to collaborate. So sharing those best practices would be very, very exciting and very important, and would even be appealing to those that we call our target members, because we're speaking into something that they can identify with. And so for a season, we will find ourselves not necessarily talking to ourselves and talking about, so what are our strategies as far as membership recruitment and retention are concerned, but we are creating a platform that can make sure that we can create that magnet and get the members in, because we've got something that they can identify with, something that they would be excited with. So you've pretty much have created something that would call them in, and they can also breathe life into it, and it evolves, and the organization keeps on evolving. That is where we're saying as RISE, in a year where we probably would have found ourselves downtrodden, but as young active citizens and young leaders that we are, we did not allow ourselves to be shut down by COVID. But now, because everything is starting to trying to get to normal, let's make sure that we can take off just like that, and we rise and we make things happen and influence our society. Thank you, Manuela.
Thank you very much, President Itai, for all the insights again, and especially also the further topics on what you expect on how we should continue. And saying this, or finishing with your words, I would like to go over to Nicole, to our chair of the JCI Europe task force. It has been founded because of a similar issue with the COVID situation. What can we do in JCI Europe? What can unite us? And so Rebuild Connect Lead has been created. And also to all our, a short comment to all our visitors. Today we are 15 minutes later because of this important topic. We want to give the time to President Itai and also to Nicole, to the task force, to talk about the global initiative and now about what is going on in Europe. So Nicole, the floor is yours to let us know what JCI Europe is doing for this initiative.
Thank you, Manuela, and also thank you, President Itai. It's a true honor to be following you and speaking about what Europe is doing, also to implement JCI with RISE within Europe. So Rebuild, Connect, Lead started up as at the European President's meeting. So we had to set up a task force to reinvent Step Up for Europe. And that is where this Rebuild Connect Lead came about. And basically we ran different kind of tests and exercises where we saw what Europe was lacking at this point in time and how we could come together to put something like rebuilding now the economies and communities, our human resources, and make it a European initiative. So we're all in this together, we're working together, and there's this European feel to it. If we can go to the next slide. I will try to rush so I'll get to the point, to the actual projects themselves. So basically how Rebuild, Connect, Lead, the three words came about through these different exercises. We saw that we basically needed to rebuild Europe, our communities, our businesses, and how are we going to be doing that? And we do that through connecting with other entities and NGOs and the individual people in our communities, and showing, at the end of the day, we are a leadership organization, so showing leadership skills as well, and showing our leadership side. And that is where Rebuild, Connect, Lead came about. And what we wanted to do is not simply, give a title and give a push towards a goal, but we also wanted to give practical examples of how one could implement it. These are obviously not the be-all and end-all of what you can run within your countries. These are just examples that we are giving for you to implement. And of course, then you can come up with your own projects. That is also very much encouraged to do. So how do we implement this in our countries? We do this in 2 steps. So the national organization would determine kind of where the country needs most support at that point in time, and look into the businesses, economy, and leadership and the individual needs and human resources. So see which one of those are the most important things to kind of push forward. And then the second step would be to give this vision of the national organization to the local organizations, and then they will be the ones that would implement it within the smaller communities. Just to explain it a bit further, how do we then choose the national path? So we created this kind of table that you are seeing on the slide. You'll have the rebuild. So what is mattering to us now the most? So is it the economy? Is it the community, local leaders, businesses, infrastructure, anything that you can imagine that matters to you the most as a country, as a JCI country at that moment, falls under this list. And then with who are we going to connect to make this, to make what matters to us better, to make it change, or whatever that we need to improve, to make it improve. So who are we going to connect with? Is it our members? Is it politicians? Is it with our community groups? And then how are we going to show leadership, and how is this going to be seen as an example within our communities and within our countries, within our cities? And of course, this can be adapted to the needs of your specific country. So it's not, we're giving you just guidelines on how you can implement this Rebuild, Connect, Lead. And then after choosing what matters to us and with whom we're going to connect, then we're going to make this question. And if we can move on to the slides on the question itself, the one after this one. Yes, that one. So we're going to get to how can we rebuild, for instance, our community, connect with our businesses and political leaders, and demonstrate leadership in our country. And this would be the kind of aim, the goal that the national organization would give to its local organizations. When then going to the local implementation, we have come up with 10 sample projects, which I'm going to go through now. And they fall within 3 different themes. So there's the leadership skills team, there's the business team, and also there's the individual needs team. So going first into the leadership skills sample projects, if we can go to the next slide. So the first project that we thought would be a good thing to run within Europe would be Meet the Leaders. So here we have organizations that set interviews and webinars, panel discussions, whatever works best within your country, with prominent businesses and political leaders. And basically, you get to hear out how they are working on rebuilding the communities. And that is where we can also be a voice and give our own opinion as leaders within our own communities on how we can grow as Europe, as our countries, as our communities. Another project is the Friendly Business Awards. Basically, these are run in JCI Ireland, and we thought that they are already a fantastic kind of project that should be implemented within Europe. And it is recognizing the smaller businesses within our communities for the things that they do and the things that make them unique. So for instance, the Friendly Business Awards recognize how eco-friendly a business is, or how it is inclusive in terms of disability access and different kinds of areas that make a business successful at the end of the day, and make it an example to other businesses as well. Another 2 projects within this team are the lobby letter. So we can go to the next slide. It's basically, it is encouraging the community members to come up with their own ideas of what they believe, the local causes they believe should be taken up and discussed on political agendas. And they write a letter or write a postcard, and this is sent to a politician that they believe that could make this statement and could put this on their agenda and put it in discussion, create a conversation around it. And then the last project within this team is the Leadership Bootcamp. So of course, we do organize a lot of leadership trainings for our own members, but it might be a time where we also look outwards towards our communities and see how we as leaders can help other young people within our communities that maybe are not yet JCI members or don't have the opportunity to yet become a JCI member, and help them. For instance, we had a lot of people lose their jobs in this period of time. So how can we help them reinvent their CVs, find a job, connect them, and help them, empower them to make their lives better? And this we thought could be a way towards reaching a wider audience even of potential future members and helping them rebuild themselves within the current situation that we are in. If we go to the next theme, the next theme is the business supports. And here we came up with 3 projects that could fall under this theme. The first one is a cross-border business exchange. And this would be basically making use of our twinning network that is already established within JCI, and have local organizations organize these kind of cross-border business trips as soon as we can all travel again properly, and showcase the local products to other countries and maybe help businesses expand into different markets. Another project idea would be a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. We all know that every country has a Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of countries have even local ones. So how can we partner up with the Chamber of Commerce, both as a national organization and within our local organizations, and making use of that and helping businesses through that partnership? Another project would be then the Support Local, and that would have initiatives that are basically empowering local businesses and encouraging the communities to support their own small local businesses. Going to the next theme, which is the individual needs. And here we have 3 sample projects that focus a lot on mental health and loneliness, where we saw that we had people that basically have gone through some mental health issues because of the whole crisis that came about. The first project would be defeating loneliness. So we are aware that there might have been people that were alone during this period. So how can we help them? We can partner up with other entities or NGOs that are working specifically on defeating loneliness within our communities and see how we can offer them our support in helping them even with human resources, so partnering up JCI members with an elderly or with a person in foster care. How can we build friendships and build our networks again? Another project is the mental health first, and this basically is empowering business and HR departments within businesses in order to give an importance to mental health within the workplace and have mental health days. So give this importance within our businesses on mental health. And the last project is Speak Up on Mental Health. And this is basically, it could be an online campaign where we get our own members to speak up about their own battles and show this "you are not alone" feeling, which I think is very important at this point in time. Those are our projects. Of course, I basically zoomed through all of them, but we have put together a draft. We have a final working plan at the moment, and we're going to be working on having a JCI Rise Rebuild Connect Lead page on the JCI Europe website, so that you can all have a more detailed look, as well as you can download the PDF of the final document on how you can implement this within your country. Any questions I can take now, or else you can send them as an email to myself or find me on Facebook, wherever suits you best, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions on the work that we have been doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicole. It's a fantastic work that you have done in the task force, and thanks a lot for this presentation. We are at the end now, so there is no time left for answering questions right now, but as you mentioned already, there is your email address. There is, of course, the Facebook stream where you can comment, and for all the things that we have presented today, you find more information on the JCI Europe website, and for JCI Rise initiative, you also, of course, find information on the JCI Facebook page and also the new JCI website. But also to that, we will share the links into the comments on the live stream, and also, of course, link on the JCI Europe website to the JCI website, so that you have one place where you can get all the information that you need on that. And again, thanks a lot for all the great work so far, and we're really looking forward to the next things happen. And mentioning the next things happen, I'd like to mention the project, or it's not really a project, it's a series of JCI Rise sessions. Like President Itai mentioned, there are some global activities going on, and they are like a flame, how to say that. So on Wednesday, 11 o'clock UTC, so take care of your specific time zone. There is the first session. It's about shaping our future. And there will be more coming, so stay tuned on that. It's about motivating workforce on September 30 and about preserving mental health on October 21st. They will all announced on JCI and also live shared on the JCI Facebook page. So I hope that lots join there. It's really interesting what will be shared there, and you can see it already in the speakers list, that there's a lot of best practice sharing, and you can a lot learn from them and bring it back to the local organizations. So we are at the end of our JCI Europe live session, and this is the time when we are also have an outlook for the next one. So the next will be on Monday, September 28th. We will talk about business there. That's what I can highlight already. But of course, you get information in advance who will be the presenters, the speakers. And so far, enjoy the last night of the August and start of the autumn time in September. And yeah, also do a lot of great work on JCI Rise and Rebuild Connect Lead. We really need on all those activities to grow as an organization, but also to grow as economy in our private and business lives. Thank you very much to all of you, EDC councillors. I'm stopping with the screen sharing. So we see all of us that have been here today. And yeah, so Ruth, I don't know if you want to say any final words, but thank you very much, all of you, for this great session and the great work.
No, also just thank you. So many people watching, staying till the end with us. It was so exciting to be there with all of you and to show the EDC Council and all of its members. We hope for many applications. Thank you to Manuela for the wonderful moderation and for really hosting this meeting tonight and doing JCI Rise with President Itai and with Nicole. Thank you so much for being there with us and have a great and a wonderful evening.
Thank you.